I studied a lot of Kandinsky paintings, trying to understand what makes abstract art actually feel like something, not just look random. So in this video, I'm creating a Kandinsky inspired piece, but my first extruded cane completely failed. And I'll show you a quick trick to turn your own failed canes into something beautiful. Hi, I'm Mihaela from Learn Polymer Clay, and let's dive in. These are the colors that I'm going to use, and in fact I'm using scrap clays that I have properly conditioned, and then I roll them into logs, and I'm making sure that these logs are going to fit into the body of the extruder. And this is the extruding disc that I intend to use, and this is like a quarter pie shape. And in fact, when you put 4 extruded logs using this element, you will end up with a tubular, long, um, tubular shape with a long log with a new polymer clay tubular log. And so I started with a very light yellow, and I extruded some logs, and then I continued with the light pinkish polymer clay, and then I also extruded some red polymer clay, some light blue polymer clay, and then I cut the logs into shorter pieces, and I'm going to put them together and assemble them to make like a pie shape when looking from the upper part. And I'm combining the colors randomly, and I'm pressing the pieces into each other, and then I'm going to continue with shorter elements, and you'll notice that I'm not working in a particular order, so I'm just putting smaller logs fitting in larger logs, because I thought that when you would cut through the cane, you would end up with an interesting pattern, especially because you have shorter logs and longer logs, so you won't have a repeated pattern throughout the cane. And I thought this would be a great idea. And so I extruded all the colors except for the black. I'm going to use the black for other elements, but you'll see this later. And this is the initial log made with 4 extruded elements that I put to create a circle, a tubular element. And then I decided to put 2 more elements together and put them on top of the initial log. But you'll notice that I'm putting these colors in a very random way, because I'm working with an abstract idea, so I am open to being surprised by the final result. Of course, you'll have to take the time and press these elements into each other and make sure you don't have gaps in between the elements. And of course, you can roll this cane against your working table. And then I decided to cut it in half and put the elements together again, and assemble the elements together again. And again, I'm putting the 2 pieces together and I'm pressing them together. And I cut again, and I'm putting the 4 elements into an abstract cane. And I'm doing my best not to have gaps in between these elements. And you'll have to press on the sides and roll this cane against your working table. You can use your roller to work on the cane. So ideally, you should not have a gap in between the elements in the center of the cane. And then I cut out the first slice, which I'm going to discard because usually the first slice is not a good, not the best piece. And when I cut through the cane, well, it wasn't really the result that I hoped to have. And I liked the colors, and I thought to myself, I have to try something else because I really like these colors, and this is a very colorful and joyful cane. And then I decided to slice it in half, um, diagonally, and put these pieces together and make like a triangle shape. And this would allow me to cut to slice the cane differently and end up with a larger piece. And you'll see this in a moment. So I cut the cane diagonally, and then I put the pieces together and I removed some scraps. But you'll notice that instead of cutting the cane like we did the first time, and the usual way to cut the cane, in fact, now I'm cutting the cane from top to bottom. So you would normally cut your canes like this, but what I propose to you for your failed canes or end of canes, you can try to cut them like this sideways and see the result that you get. And again, I'm making sure that I don't have gaps in between the elements. And I'm going to cut several slices of this cane that turned out into a triangle. And I really like the abstract look of these pieces. And I'm going to put together several slices. And you'll have to decide how you're going to put together, join together these pieces to make colorful abstract lines. And then I've decided to use black polymer clay for the back, and I'm going to use it for some decorative elements on the front as well. Polymer clay for the pasta machine on the setting number 6. And then I used parchment paper and the roller, and I pressed everything together. I used the flexible blade to freehand cut an interesting shape for my pendant. And because I like my polymer clay pieces to have a beautiful back, I'm going to use some of the black scrap clay mixed with the colorful scrap clay, and I'm putting everything through the pasta machine on a thinner setting. And then I'm just going to use a stamp, and I'm going to texture the clay, and you'll notice some of the colorful scrap clay showing through, but I wanted this interesting effect for the back. If you don't want to have such an interesting partially colorful effect on the back, you can use only black clay for the back of the piece. And after texturing the piece of polymer clay, I'm just going to flip it, put the previously cut out piece on top, gently press everything together, but you have to be very careful not to press too much because you don't want to distort the pattern on the back, of course, but you want these pieces to be neatly joined together. And then again, I use the flexible blade, and I'm cutting out a border which is slightly larger than the shape of the cutout piece that sits on top. and I want an abstract shape, which is why I'm cutting freehand. I'm not using a template, I'm not using a cutter. I wanted free shapes and abstract freedom. And because, and going back to the Kandinsky inspiration, I wanted to have interesting elements on top, and I wanted these elements to guide the viewer in and direct the view in several directions. And you will see shortly what I mean by this. So again, I used a piece of polymer clay passed through a thinner setting, and I used the same stamp to texture the clay. And this time I'm going to use cutters to cut out elements, and I'm cutting a triangle shape, rather small triangle shape. And I'm also using a cutter that allows you to cut two elements, a hollow circle, a hollow circular element, and a round element in the same time. And I'm also using a square cutter that will result in a square hollow element and a second square. And then you just have to assemble these elements on top of the colorful polymer clay piece. And I thought that these elements would give more interest and more depth to the top of the pendant, abstract polymer clay pendant. So now I have to decide how I'm going to put these elements on top of the pendant. So I'm just playing with the cutout elements, and I'm trying to use them to add more interest and depth to my polymer clay pendant. And I think these elements are really the finishing touches that give this abstract polymer clay the Kandinsky feel I was looking to achieve. And then you'll also notice that some of the pieces are only partially placed on top of the colorful element. So I am going to use some baking paper and support these pieces during baking. And you'll notice that I'm overlapping some elements. I'm moving these elements around a little bit until I get an interesting feeling when I'm looking at the piece. And then when you are happy with the look of the piece, you can use parchment paper and gently press these elements into the base. And I also decided to make another element. So I've prepared another sheet of black polymer clay, and I used the same stamp to texture the clay, and I used again the circular cutter, and this time I'm going to use a smaller cutter to make an opening, a round opening in the center of this piece, and I'm going to use this round hollow element to add even more interest to this pendant. I felt that I wanted to play even more with the hollow elements and with negative spaces, and I think I like how these pendants looks now right now even more. So as I said, I'm going to brace up the elements that are sticking out with some baking paper, and I'm using baking paper to brace those elements during baking. And then when you are happy with the look of the piece, when you've made sure that you've smoothed the edges of the piece and that everything looks fine, you can put your pendant into the oven and bake it for 45 minutes at the recommended temperature in the preheated oven. I usually bake my pieces on parchment paper because I've also made the textured bag in the same time. And that's the final piece, my take on a Kandinsky inspired pendant. I'd love to know what you think. Does it capture the abstract expressive feel, or would Kandinsky totally disapprove? Anyway, thank you for watching the tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more inspiration for work with polymer clay.